Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the ever-popular Neon Tetra. There is this general notion that the freshwater fish are not as colorful or interesting as their saltwater counterparts. That is, however, not true all the time, and there are some really stunning and captivating fish in the freshwater hobby as well. One such fish that can put many saltwater fish to shame is the diminutive Neon Tetra. Then there's the misconception that fish that are pretty are often quite difficult to care for. Once again, the Neon Tetra bucked that trend with aplomb. It should therefore come as no surprise that the Neon Tetra is one of the most popular fish in the aquarium hobby. This fish species is often referred to as one of the cornerstone species of the freshwater world, and a fish that every hobbyist must keep at least once in their lifetime. Here is everything there is to know about how to keep these beautiful fish successfully. What's with all the color? Usually when freshwater fish are this colorful, they tend to be either artificially colored through injecting them with dyes, or it's because some genetic tinkering has been done to them. The Neon Tetra is neither, and its looks are a result of the conditions found in their natural habitat. As we shall find out very soon, these are one of the smallest fishes out there. That makes them a target for pretty much anything with a mouth, and their only defense is to school together. That can only be possible if they see each other quite well. Unfortunately, they live in murky waters, with a lot of tannins in them that keep the visibility to a minimum. Their brilliant coloration helps them see each other even in these conditions. They also have the incredible ability to change colors and turn a dull gray or black while resting, which renders them almost invisible in their natural habitat. They can do the same when stressed, which can come in handy in an aquarium as it'll allow you to spot a problem before it's too late. Do Neon Tetras make for good aquarium fish? Despite their aristocratic looks, the Neon Tetra is one of the easier fish to take care of. That is a trait that is quite common of the Tetra family of fishes. Having said that, they do require a certain level of care and upkeep to get them to exhibit their best colors and live for a reasonably long time. The good news is that all these care requirements are well within the ballpark of what most aquarium owners can meet with ease. What makes the Neon Tetra special? Their coloration is obviously the trait that stands out the most, but that's not the only trick up this fish's fins. It's a schooling fish, and they can congregate in the thousands in the wild. You can create a stunning effect by keeping a relatively large number of these fish in your home aquarium. Watching them swim together and in synchronization with each other is truly a mesmerizing spectacle. Another reason why they're considered special is that they don't require any advanced care. Anyone with basic knowledge and experience of this hobby can keep them quite successfully. Tank size for Neon Tetras. As these fish grow to a maximum length of only 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters, they don't require a lot of space per fish. However, as mentioned before, these are naturally schooling fish, and if they're kept in small numbers, they will get stressed out. This will reduce their life expectancy quite considerably. So it's always a great idea to keep as many of them as possible. The bare minimum is 6, but keeping at least 15 to 20 of these fish is highly recommended both for their health and to get that stunning schooling behavior. The minimum tank size is 10 gallons for every 6 individuals. Tank setup. These fish come from places with dense vegetation, so the recommended tank setup is a heavily planted aquarium. However, if you're not willing to go down that route, then you can still keep them in a tank with plenty of artificial decor that will provide the fish with plenty of hiding space. Lighting should also be muted. The dark and murky waters of their natural habitat make them nervous and skittish under bright lights. Their brilliant coloration can also get washed out during such lighting conditions. So go for a lighting setup keeping that in mind. If it's a planted tank, then choose plants that can grow in medium to low lighting. Their small size might give the appearance that they can be sucked into filtration systems, but they're actually quite good at swimming. Any good filter with a gallons per hour or GPH rating that is 4 times the volume of water in your aquarium will do just fine. Neon Tetras do not have any specific substrate requirements either. Water parameters. While they are hardy fish, it's always a good idea to provide them with a stable environment. The temperature should be maintained at a constant value between 72 degrees Fahrenheit to 76 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 22.2 to 24.4 degrees Celsius, respectively. The water should be slightly on the acidic side with a pH between 6 and 7. Soft water is preferred. Another thing to keep in mind is that these fish are very vulnerable to ammonia and nitrates, and therefore they should only be added to tanks that have been properly cycled. Their ability to lose their coloration when stressed can be a great indicator that something is wrong. Normally they will do this at night when sleeping, but if their color consistently stays dull, then check the water parameters to ensure that everything is fine in the optimum range and that nothing is stressing them out. Tankmates and feeding Neon Tetras. It should be quite obvious that tankmates for the Neon Tetra should be peaceful and on the smaller side themselves. Other peaceful tetras, live bearers, corridoras, and autoclemus catfish, and freshwater shrimp can all be great options. Two larger fish that make for great tankmates are the Bosemani rainbowfish and the discus, owing to their docile nature. Neon Tetras are not at all fussy about what they eat. They will readily accept most commonly available fish food, frozen food, and live food. For optimum health, it is recommended to provide them with a balanced diet consisting of high-quality flake food, and frozen and dried bloodworms and brine shrimp. Can you breed Neon Tetras? Yes, you can. In fact, almost all Neon Tetras sold in pet stores are captive bred. Ideally, you would need a breeding tank with a 1-inch layer of peat as the substrate, and either a breeding mat or some Java moss for the fish to lay their eggs on. Start feeding the fish protein-rich food. The females will start giving a more rounded appearance. At this time, move a group of them along with a few males to the breeding tank. The temperature in the breeding tank should be between 75 to 76 degrees Fahrenheit, 23.9 to 24.4 degrees Celsius. The peat will start lowering the pH, which will trigger the fish to spawn. You can also do a 50% water change to simulate rain, which will further trigger the spawning process. Once the eggs are fertilized, remove the adults and let the breeding tank sit in the dark for the next 36 hours. The fry will hatch in about 5 days, and they can be fed infusoria or freshly hatched brine shrimp. These days, commercial fry food is also available. Neon Tetra disease. There is a dark side of keeping these fish. This disease is caused by a protozoan, and if a Neon Tetra gets infected with it, in most cases it will die within a few days. What's even worse is this is a highly contagious disease, and it can quickly kill all the Neon Tetras in the tank. There is sadly no treatment for this disease either. If a fish stops schooling and starts swimming haphazardly, immediately remove it from the tank. Always quarantine new additions for at least 2 weeks before adding them to your aquarium. This disease is mainly spread through infected food, so use food that can be trusted and try to avoid live food as much as possible. Do not confuse them with Cardinal Tetras. There's another fish species known as the Cardinal Tetra that are very similar to the Neon Tetra, with an almost identical coloration and iridescent blue and red. This distinguishing feature is that the red band runs through the length of the body of the Cardinal Tetra, as opposed to just about the halfway point on a Neon Tetra. There is, however, no harm in keeping them together, and they will often even school together. So, there you have it. If you want a really peaceful aquarium that can just wash all your stress away, then you have to keep Neon Tetras. And hopefully, by now, you know how to do it successfully. If you liked this video, be sure to tap that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will see you in the next video.